Hi and welcome to my soul tribe. My name is Miriam Rose. If you like this video, please make sure to subscribe, set the bell on all, like, comment and share, as I really appreciate all of your support. Now let's get on with the video. Greetings, dear ones. I am Kryon of Magnetic Service. There is always a system in place, and in this particular case of the new energy, the system honors the old soul as much as any system today. Dear ones, we have told you many times before that the ones who are making the difference on your planet at this new point in time are the ones who have the most experience. When we say the most experience, we mean those who have lived lives on this planet again and again within the energy of your earth. This indeed is the old soul we are talking about, and this is the one with lifetimes of experience. I would like to tell you something if you didn't already know it. The old souls are the ones who are awakening right now to new ideas and perceptions. An old soul can be under 20 years old or even over 80. It doesn't matter, for your chronological age only measures this life. Your akashic age refers to how many lifetimes you have had and how wise you are today because of it. Even now, there would be those who would ask, am I an old soul? Before you can answer this, I want to give you some old soul parameters to think about in these last moments of this meeting. But before I do that, I again want to tell you something. I see the sweetness and the beauty and the purpose of your being here. I come from the other side of the veil, where there is no time and a perception of a reality that is far different from here. In that place where I am, if you want to call it a place, there is acknowledgement of all that you are. We see the frustrations of the single life you live, and at the same time, the beauty of the lives you have lived before. We have seen what you have been through and what you believe you are here for. We see it all at once in its grandness, and still you wonder, am I an old soul? It is amazing for us, as you sit here listening, that you would ever ask the question at all. Dear ones, there is so much here that I want you to feel that I cannot even speak of. I want this message to ring with truth so that you know who you are. I want to start a journey that helps to validate that which you already know at some level. You are an old soul. Let me make a statement. I know who is here, and everyone who is listening to my voice at this moment in this room are old souls, all of you, every single one. There is a vast variety between you regarding the length of time each of you has been on the planet. Think of what you have experienced, the various cultures that you have been in, the battles you have been through, and the reasons you came. I want to tell you that the experience of this group is amazing, and it is not what you think. You think linear, and you think you simply live a number of lives as different kinds of humans. Instead, we see you, and we see your lives as earth catalysts. We call a lifetime an experience, or an expression of a soul on the earth. What do you think about a soul who comes in for 3 months and leaves? You might think there is something wrong here, that it is a tragedy of a lost child. But in reality, it is done with prearrangement with the parents' souls. This is so a lesson might be learned or delivered, or an opportunity would be given for the parents to become spiritual through their sorrow. What about that? So it represents a lifetime that is profound by its potentials, which is only 3 months long. Often, this lifetime experience is only given by an old soul. Did you think that you might have done something like that? It is so basic and so profound and so meaningful. Perhaps a mother has awakened spiritually and asked the questions of her life because of what you did and what you agreed to do, and you come and go in only 3 months. What about coming to this earth to only live until you're 19 and then be terminated on the battlefield by a knife that goes through you? You might say, what good does that do? It's a waste of life. I would like to say to you, dear human being, that every breath you take as an old soul on this planet is meaningful, is countable, is recorded, and is beautiful. Some of you had to be on the battlefield as the ones who fell, and some of you had to be on the battlefield as the victors. That is experience, and it is all needed by the old soul at this moment in this time. What good does it do? Perhaps you'd remember it enough that someday you might have the power to say, there will be no more battlefields. Your wisdom would realize that it doesn't matter whether you are the winner or the loser, for they both represent inappropriate low energy of a new earth. War is not acceptable. Only an old soul would know this through experience. I want to give you the attributes of the old soul slowly, and I'm going to ask you for introspection. In other words, I want you to analyze these things personally. Don't lie to yourself. Don't be in denial. I want you to sit and clear yourself for this right now. Are these your attributes? Attribute 1. The first reason to know you are an old soul is because you are here listening to this. I don't have a room filled with human beings in front of me who are simply curious. At the level of learning represented here, in this kind of energy, it only attracts old souls. Did you want to come? Most say yes, but a few of you were dragged here by someone who wanted you to observe what takes place. I will tell you that this is synchronically and not by accident. Even those who may not have selected to be here and are here due to others are old souls. This also applies to the listeners who are perhaps listening for the first time. It is not an accident. The first reason you know you are an old soul is because you are here, dear ones. What do you hear or think about when we speak? Do you hear Kryon? Or are you thinking about dinner later? Be honest. Old souls are curious. When it comes to this energy, they're attracted to it like a moth to a flame. Old soul, you recognize why you are here. At some level you want more. A sponge for the information you are, and not through curiosity, but because the information is beginning to ring with the truth of the age. That is number 1. Attribute number 2. Some of you are starting to have what I call profound remembering experiences. You have called this deja vu, a phrase which means that you may think you have experienced the energy before. I have the feeling of remembrance, although I cannot remember if it happened or not. Some of you are having this happen more and more. Perhaps you will meet a person, then walk away from the meeting and at some level be convinced that you have seen that person before. Later you realize that you have never met them. Perhaps you might go to a gathering and you meet somebody who is friendly and feels very familiar, like family, yet you have never met them. Somehow, through it all, you realize this must be an old friend and you are rekindling a profound friendship with Akashic family. Perhaps you have met a mother or a daughter from a former life. Men will meet former comrades who they somehow feel an affinity for, and they will call them mates and chaps, or whatever is needed to verbally signal that they want to be with them. It is even more than that. Some of you will find a similarity of consciousness with others, but it's more than that. You are starting to remember things, an energy I'm going to call Akashic awakening. More and more of you are being led into situations that seem familiar, and you see faces that you think you know, yet it's the first time in this life. My partner has it happen when he goes to countries and cultures that he has never been to before, and there he meets brothers and sisters. It is hard for him to leave. Many don't speak his language and can only be available through interpreters, yet he looks in their eyes and he knows their family. As far-reaching as it might seem, his experiences all over the planet are with ones he knows. He is meeting family. This is a sign of being an old soul, and some of you are having it happen over and over again. In addition, how many of you are seeing number 1111 on the clock regularly? It is out of synchronicity of being seen by chance. You are seeing these number combinations too often for chance. Did you know that this is a delivery system to old souls so that they know they are old souls? That is what it is about. It is a system of communication, of love that says, we know who you are, old soul. Attribute number 3. Perhaps you are a woman who has never had children yet. At some level you have. You know it and can feel it. Perhaps you have never had children and you decide that you are not going to. You don't need to because you feel you have had children over and over and now it is time for a rest. But you know what it is like, don't you? You really do, old soul. You have been here enough times that your Akash rings with being a profound mother. It is the same for men. A man who is a gentle-natured man and who would never hurt another human being may intuitively know he has been a warrior. He feels or even dreams that he has put a sword through another human a few times and knows what it feels like to take a life. Now, if you're a man listening to me now, I challenge you to go there in your mind with me. You will feel it and you know you have been part of a despicable deeds. It rings in your Akash and it is part of your cellular structure. As gentle as you might be or as respectful as you might be, this time around you know you have the warrior inside. Now, if you really want to get esoteric, listen to this. Women who are listening, you know you have a warrior inside inside as well, and you can feel it. You have participated on the battlefields of Earth and you know it. Although you may not respond to being a male, you can respond to the energy of being in the drama of battle. You know what it's like to survive or not on the battlefield. So much history involved battles being won and lost that it means all of you who are listening or watching have participated to the fullest in many of them. Sometimes you passed for your God and sometimes you passed for nothing, but you have all had the experience of knowing what it feels like to come and go quickly and have dramatic passing. Men and women, you carry that energy of the past, and the next time around it affects you, and you can decide if you wish to do it again or not. In an older energy, many of you have decided to do it over and over, and families of military men and women are born. Others awaken to a feeling of being finished with it all. Some battle-weary men become mothers. Attribute number 4. There are so many signs of being an old soul that perhaps you're not aware of them. Some hide. Here is one I want you to examine in your mind as you sit here. Are you naive or wise? Now, I recognize that a naive person will never think they are a naive person. I'm talking about wisdom beyond your years. Do you have wisdom beyond your years? The answer in every case is yes. You know it, and you sit there in all honesty with your body, with your consciousness, and you know it. There are some young people here who feel it profoundly. Wisdom beyond your years. How is that possible? How can you describe what that feels like? Dear ones, I have just given you one of the keys to knowing you are an old soul, and I also know that you never talk about it with anyone. How could you ever say such a thing to anyone without them believing that your ego was out of control? If you say, I'm wiser than anyone around me, people will question your motives and perhaps not wish to be around you. But honestly, between us now, doesn't it feel like it? Dear one, here is a secret that you all carry, and you have this in common with the entire universe. You come together with them and you realize you have found a wise family. Your wisdom comes through experience. You have paid for it, dear ones. That's how you know you're an old soul. Attribute number 5. Now the next one is difficult to deal with, and we have spoken of it before in several recent channelings. There is one thing that the Akash creates in your personality. Living lifetimes over and over in an old energy creates self-worth issues. For eons you have pushed against an old energy and you haven't done well. The old energy was always in charge and you either had to hide from it or battle it. Many of you passed from it. It never really got any better through history. Lifetime after lifetime you spent in this condition, always being beat back until now. You are awakened at a time on this planet prophesied by the ancients. It is profound with potential change, and the prophecies are being fulfilled. The energy is finally on your side, and that is what we have talked about through the last few years. However, because of this battle with old energy, what is the attitude you carry? It's a complete lack of self-worth. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand right now to validate this, for most of you feel it. Search your soul right now and you will know I'm right. You may be assertive on the outside and you may be strong to others, but when you are alone, you wonder who you are. You wonder if you're going to make it. You wonder if you are right. That is the old soul. Your experience through history has caused you to search your mind to see if you are worth being here. Now in this new energy, your logic weighs all this and often comes up with this result. Maybe I'm not worth it to be here, or will it happen again, or I'm too tired for this. That's what you think about, don't you? Lack of self-worth is the attribute of the old soul. It is fully understandable. How many times do you lose the same contest before you don't want to be part of it anymore? But the contest has changed. The energy of the planet is starting to turn around, and the light and dark balance of consciousness is altering greatly. As you learn who you are, why you are here, and why you feel the way you do, it will start to make sense. There is nothing better than discovering the truth, for it solves the past. Discovering the truth about the past also puts the future into perspective, and you start to have the self-worth that you deserve. The battle of darkness and old energy are all around you, and you are watching them being fought by society in totally different ways. There is an overall feeling that human beings collectively desire equality, comfortable lives, fairness, good quality of living, and integrity of governmental leadership everywhere. This is the main battle today. The changing of the guard from doing things the same way to moving to something that humanity has not seen before. attribute number 6. Discovering purpose. The old soul has so much past experience, and there is so much history that many look around and say, what is my purpose of being here? Often they search for others to tell them what it is. They may go to meetings where they are pretty sure they know what it is, but deep down have no idea. They ask, what is my purpose? What am I doing here? This is because the energy is different. As an old soul, you ask these esoteric questions because some of you, if not all of you, feel at some level unfulfilled by what you are doing. You think it is not enough, or it has gone a different direction than you thought at the beginning. Old soul, your questions really show that you are an old soul in a new energy. Learning your way around again is confusing and frustrating. For as many times as you have lived before, you have never lived in this energy. This is primary energy for you, and so you feel a little lost. Or perhaps the purpose of your life is not clear because the new energy does not give you the feedback the old energy did. You can't tell because you can't trust what you feel. So you ask the question, am I doing it right? Is there something I should do better or more often? I'm going to say this again. Old soul, as you begin to change yourself from the old ways, your power really starts to show. You start realizing not only who you are, but that you deserve to be here. You have come in with so much experience that you begin to pull upon it akashically. You may not even realize that you are doing it, but indeed you are. Intuition becomes higher, and you start to go and get advice for your own life. You receive synchronicity on where to go and what to do, all based upon your being an old soul today. The ones who are just coming into the planet, dear ones, are only looking around and learning how things work. They are just surviving. They don't have the tools of experience yet that you do. They will, but they are just figuring it out. However, you know what it's about, and you have the wisdom to remember. You are beginning to solve the problems of humanity, and some time ago we told you what the purpose of your life was. We told you to relax and simply be here. We told you that it doesn't matter what you do, and that your works are not as important as your presence. This is a concept that doesn't work with what your parents told you. Listen, it doesn't matter what you do. Your light helps this planet, not your works. Your search for who you are helps this planet. Just by sitting in the chair today helps this planet. The crystalline greed remembers what you're doing, and the energy created from your conscious search will last for generations. By being here as an experienced soul, you put your experience of wisdom into the greeds of this planet, the energy of the maturity of your lives. That is what you're doing here right now. This particular new energy of the planet right now is like a sponge absorbing your experience and akashic power, so that the next generations will have what you have learned as an old soul. There is a system here that is far beyond what you think it could be. Literally, while you are sitting in despair wondering if you deserve to be here and what your life's purpose is, this planet is absorbing everything you have done and maturing because of it. That is the system that the old soul needs to know about. Relax and be. Know that you are here on purpose. Relax and let synchronicity push you into the next area that will be benevolent and beautiful for you if you will allow it. You have been through so much and so many lives where you have suffered that it is easy for you to think you are here to suffer again. You're not. Parents, would you bring your children into this world on purpose so that they can suffer with you? It doesn't make sense. It's not spiritual common sense. You have to start using the intelligence of spirit that would ask, what would I do if I were a loving, benevolent God? Then at some level there will be a voice inside that says, you are a piece of the whole creation. You can answer your own logical questions if you want, since your wisdom gives you a common sense glimpse of the mind of the Creator. Finally, number 7, and you might never think of this one, dear ones. You have something you feel deeply, and it is obvious. However, you think everyone has it. They don't. The old soul in this energy has the ability to feel profoundly loved by God, and others do not. This takes a maturity. It takes lifetimes of experience for you to understand the benevolence of the Creator and what this feels like and means inside. This is why it is so difficult to take a young soul from being a victim to feeling loved by God. They have no idea what that feels like. You do. Here is something that I never said before about my partner, and I reveal it here for the first time. He gave you the Kryon story many times over the years, and he told you what happened to him when he sat in the chair for the first time and called upon him. He felt emotion. That was his catalyst, and that allowed allowed him to sit in the chair again and again. Not only did he feel it, he liked it. At some level, the engineer recognized it and knew what it was. He was an old soul. He is an old soul, and he was ready to feel the love of God. He recognized family, and dear ones, the new souls don't. They don't understand the feeling that you have, which is the maturity of being loved by the Creator. They will, but it takes experience. If you are an old soul, you can feel it. If you can feel it, you are an old soul. Congratulations to all of you for being who you are. You are the ones who will change the planet. In this time, you have come from all over, from so many countries and so many languages, and you all have one thing in common right now. You are together and can feel the love of God. You are going to change the planet. By your very presence here, light worker, the crystalline grid absorbs the light that you carry, that you have earned and brought to all of us. This is a profound system, and the new energy of the planet needs the experience of the old soul and the wisdom of the old souls in order to affect those born in the future. This system is esoteric, difficult to describe, and profound. Think of it, by living here today, you imbue into the grids the knowledge and wisdom for future generations. How do you think that humanity is ever going to mature and evolve spiritually without this knowledge? The answer is that it can't do it unless there is a change, and the catalyst for this change is your old soul, akashic experience. You are the ones who are putting it right into the grids of the planet by just being here and understanding this, and the time capsules opening will slowly create an ascended planet. You are planting the seeds of the future just by being in the room and letting us speak to you. I close. What are you going to do with this information? I want you to think on these things if you can. If you will, I want you to think on all of them and ask that question. Is it possible that I am more than I think I am? Is it possible that God knows me as I sit here with all my earthly problems and frustrations? Does God really care about all of the errands that I have to do, or the children that I have to raise? Does God care about the relatives that I have to please, or the bosses at work? Is it possible that God loves me through all of this? The answer is yes, 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 and yes. So important, old soul, are you. Congratulations. That's your purpose to be here, to just live and know that you are loved. And so it is. Kryon. I hope you enjoyed this video. With absolute gratitude, love and light, cosmic kisses to everyone. Till next time. Bye for now.